You know what I'm learning more than ever, folks? Is that, by the way, I have a dentist sanding down my palate so things don't look all with my teeth. But you know what I'm learning, folks? Is that the righteous, and I'm not calling myself righteous. Maybe a little bit. I mean, what I'm saying is I try to be like you guys. I try to be transparent and sincere. And I have a lot of people come on and say mean things to me in the comment section. I know you guys are like, dude, quit sniveling. Quit your sniveling, Troy. I'm not sniveling. Can you hear me? Okay. But what I am saying is that good people aren't popular. And I'm not trying to get popular on here. I want views so I can get money. Yeah, I monetize my channel. I do. I do this for a living. I don't just come and bring you old folks stuff every day for my health. For my health. Yes, I love preaching the gospel and I love sharing stuff with you. And I haven't decided if I'm going to completely get rid of the channel. I think I kind of intended on just uploading once a week after I start the channel with my brother Tim. But anyway, let's talk about it. Welcome to the last of the last, maybe, dispensations, unless the millennium's a dispensation. You're living in it.
We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going, don't really know.
So yeah, I was happy that Trump won,
but now everybody
but I'm not worshiping Trump.
That you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going,
and I don't think you guys are either.
Where the world is gonna go.
Those guys ain't worshiping Trump either. But you know, but it's true. The righteous. I don't think I'm arrogant for saying that. I think I'm the righteous. I think I'm trying to do what's right. I'm not the perfect. Never said I was the perfect, but I am the trying to do what's right, righteous. Right? Is it mean to crack down on immigration? My stance is, when it comes to immigration and borders and stuff like that, God has boundaries. Are you a bad person because you want boundaries? I love all my neighbors. I was glad that I came back to California from Utah. I loved Utah. I can't wait to go back and visit in April and give my little talks, which I'm looking immensely forward to. But I'm not a bigot or a racist because I want borders and I want boundaries and I want people to come over here the right way, because we have a lot of criminals that come over here, and that's so true, and it's trafficking and all that. And let's get real. Half the states here are being brainwashed, United States, half of them, because the politicians are brainwashing them into thinking that you're bad if you want boundaries. But Heavenly Father has boundaries. No unclean thing can enter the kingdom of heaven. In other words, you got to get your paperwork right. And your paperwork is your temple recommend. And if you're not living according to it, you're not entering the kingdom of heaven, period. Does that make you a bigot because you want something like that? Because you believe in boundaries? That boundaries are heavenly? As Latter-day Saints living in, let's just take the state of Arizona, because it's bad there. Are we going to see the Saints not support a GOP presidency because of Trump cracking down on that? California Saints aren't like that. Well, I live in the Valley. We're pretty conservative here. But let's take Arizona. We find ourselves at, do we find ourselves at an intersection of faith, law, and compassion when it comes to immigration? Arizona's proximity to the border, does that make it a pressing issue for people there? I don't know. I don't live there. Is that a pressing issue for you guys? I believe it's important to recognize that supporting legal immigration and secure borders doesn't make someone a bad person or lack compassion. Like I said, I couldn't wait to get back to my neighbors who are all Hispanic. I am not kidding. The neighborhood I live in, there's 2 white people on my street. White families. I'm one of them. But I don't even see that. I'm literally colorblind. That's not a cliche statement. That's not something worn out to say, I'm colorblind. No, I literally am. I don't think that way. I think of them as people. They're people. Has nothing to do with, we could have Polish people coming over here. And we did at one time. And Irish people. We had other immigrants at one time come over here. We never liked the criminals. Ever. We never, ever, 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 ever for Beber liked the criminals.
Mush mouth.
We never did. So you don't lack compassion and you're not a racist because you want borders and you're following God. God has boundaries. Here are some scriptures that say that God believes in borders. You ready? Genesis 1:3-4, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and he separated the light from the darkness. This shows God establishing boundaries between light and darkness. Here's another one. Proverbs 8:29, when he gave the sea its boundary so that the waters would not overstep his command. And when he marked out the foundations of the earth, this depicts God setting boundaries for the sea. There's boundaries again. Ready? Job 38:10-11. And prescribed limits for it and set bars and doors and said, thus far shall you come and so far and no farther. And there shall your proud waves be stayed. Again, referring to God setting boundaries for the sea. Acts 17:26. For one man he had made all the nations. From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. This shows God establishing boundaries for nations. Really? Yeah. Deuteronomy 32:8, when the Most High gave the nations their inheritance, when he divided all mankind, he set up boundaries for the peoples according to the number of the sons of Israel. Exodus 19:12. And some of these are kind of irrelevant, but they're relevant enough because we're setting we are showing boundaries are there in the scriptures. Put limits for the people around the mountain and tell them, be careful that you do not approach the mountain or touch the foot of it. Whoever touches the mountain is to be put to death. Here God sets boundaries around Mount Sinai. In our theology and many Christian theologies, and not just Christian, but most gods in all religions have set boundaries, almighty rulers of universes who create and organize rather than being limited by, rather than being infiltrated by their enemies, right? Or the wicked. Satan is not allowed. He was cast out because they were trouble makers, just like here today. Satan is he's no different than a lot of your troublemakers here that are in big places, because God is perfect. He is the God of righteousness with attributes such as love, mercy, charity, truth, power, faith, knowledge, and judgment. People that traffic people or come over here to hurt people or do bad things, they don't possess those traits. Do you think that Heavenly Father's come on into heaven? No. He knows these things. So yeah, it's scriptural, it's godly that God has laws and God has commandments, and I interpret that, and I think you interpret that, and common sense interprets that, that is a form of boundary setting. There is a law irrevocably decreed in heaven from the foundations of the world, upon which all blessings are what? Yes, you said it, predicated. Doctrine and Covenants 130:20. Sorry. Doctrine and Covenants 130:20. Many members of the church believe in upholding the law and also believe in showing Christ-like love to all people, regardless of immigration status. There's no doubt that we can advocate for a system that respects both the rule of law and human dignity. That is common sense. But we don't have common sense anymore. That's out the window. That is out the window. Before I forget, brothers and sisters, if you are enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ding the bell for notifications. Your support means the world to me and helps the channel grow. And hey, if you want to contribute to the program, I do prefer Venmo first, then Cash App, then PayPal, then Zelle. And I've got cool products. I got cool merch. That's all being designed. I get a percentage of it. And that's if you're interested. Remember, your comments are what keep this community thriving. So drop your thoughts below. And if you're feeling extra generous, consider becoming a YouTube member or sending a thanks, a super thanks right there. The button's right below the screen during our videos. Now back to the topic. That is out the window. And this means supporting legal pathways to immigration, helping those in need, and finding humane solutions to complex border issues, right? We're not trying to just abandon people at the border. I don't think Trump never did that. Never did that. Remember when Biden took over and was doing the same thing that Obama was doing, that President Trump, and then saying that President Trump implemented all these border procedures, and he didn't. He was just abiding by them. But I guarantee you, he probably could have done a better job because he has real compassion. You know why I know that? Look at how he treats his family. He loves his family, and his family loves him. It's not fake. Heavenly Father in Jesus Christ, and in our gospel, we are taught to love our neighbors and to be subject to the laws of the land, that they're synonymous. How do you love your neighbor? You teach them to follow laws that are going to keep them happy and you happy and everybody safe, right? These are principles. They are not mutually exclusive. We can work towards immigration reform that is both just and that is both merciful. You can have both. But that's not what's going on here, folks. We're being brain rotted. As Latter-day Saints, many of us have served missions. Maybe some of you I'm talking to right now. And you served abroad. Or you have, like I do, and all of us, we all have some immigrant ancestors. So to say that we don't live in that understanding is a fallacy. When we're doing our genealogy, we're looking up our immigrant ancestors all the time and talking about the things that they faced as immigrants and as setbacks and failures and inadequacies. And with these experiences, we understand empathy. We get it. People are being brainwashed today to think that there's a big group of flyover states that are just bad, and the R word with an A and a C and IST. Not true, right? Because we're a big melting pot of people. I mean, what is a white person? What is a pure race of persons? There is none, especially in the United States. Because we all, throughout time, have mixed and mingled. We're mutts. The whole world is a bunch of mutts. And we can use these perspectives to bridge these divides and unrot people's brains. I looked at the left-wing media last night and saw how jacked up they were in their minds, and didn't care that 90% of the United States did not agree with them. I would be like taking my microphone off and everything, be like, I'm getting out of here. You guys are psychopaths. But they don't do that because you know why? They are the psychopaths. They care more about why they weren't able to brainwash you. And they don't like us because we, as a people and a community, strive to balance the law and order. And they don't like us because we have duty. And we follow our duty to care for the stranger among us. We do. They project what they don't do. We are the real compassionate people that just want law and order. That's why we're not afraid to say we want the law and order, because we're actually the charitable people, right? We have room to say that. See, the hypocrite doesn't have room to say that. He feels so much guilt and doesn't want other people to look down upon him because he's really not practicing that at all. And of course, there are nuances in every person. I get that. But I would say approaching this issue, you got to be firm. You got to stand your ground. You got to have kindness. And you got to stand your ground. And just know who you are. Don't put up with their crap. We are working towards real solutions. And I'm thankful. I told Andrea last night that we're not mourning. We're at the beginning of not mourning, but at least for 4 years, for our president. And we won Congress. We won the House. I know that. I'm not sure about the Senate. Andrea, did we win the Senate or just the House? Okay. But remember that you are what reflects our values as a good American. And you can be a good American and a follower of Jesus Christ. So, Arizona, if your saints there, set the example and let everybody know that you stand for both, if that's who you are.